Okay, so you want to be happier, without prescription medication. And who doesn't want to be happier? After all, being happy causes you to be more successful. It causes you to be more likable by other people. It even causes you to live longer and be healthier. But how can you be happier? You've heard all those cliches before. Money doesn't buy happiness, your mom probably told you, while also telling you to go to college so you can land that high-paying job and spend your whole life working some 9-to-5 job you don't even like just because it pays well. And when you're feeling kind of depressed, your empathic dad probably gives you that timeless advice like, cheer up, or just snap out of it. Advice which has literally never helped anyone ever. Like, oh, thanks, Dad. Let me just turn off this depression switch real quick. Can't believe I left that on by mistake. Thanks. You probably bought self-help books about the power of positive thinking, which preach about suppressing negative thoughts and visualizing your ideal self. But surprise, surprise, it didn't help at all. Okay, seriously, people, if you have one of these books, do me a favor right now. Please just pause this video, go throw them in the trash right now. It's okay, I'll wait. Are you back? Well, what actually works? Turns out psychologists have been studying this question for decades. Alright, I'm going to give you the bad news first. 50% of your lifelong happiness is genetically determined, and you have absolutely no control over it. It's determined in your genes. It was inherited from your parents, it'll be passed on to your kids, and another full 10% of your day-to-day happiness is determined entirely by things that are really hard to change, like your job, your relationship status, your level of income. But here's the good news. The remaining 40% can be controlled, and it all comes down to your mindset. Sorry if that sounded a little religious there for a second. Anyway, it turns out, unlike what your mom said, money can buy happiness, to a point. As your income increases, it allows your standard of living to increase. You get to eat better food, you get a car, you get a TV, you get to go on vacations, buy your own house, you get a gold digger girlfriend, and so on. However, after your basic needs of food, shelter, and clothing are all met, getting more money won't make you much happier. So how much money do you need to be happy? Now, the answer to that question varies depending on where you live, but if you were taking the southern part of the United States as an example, that point of maximum happiness is $87,000 per year. Beyond making $87,000 a year, making more money will make you feel more accomplished, but it won't make you any happier in and of itself. Not even if you become a billionaire. So no, winning the lottery won't make you happier for more than a few months. You'll be really happy at first and as your standard of living increases, but after you get used to being rich, all those old anxieties, depression, mental insecurities will still be there to weigh you down. Now, if you do have some money to spend, which will make you happier? Spending it on products or on experiences? Turns out experiences produce greater happiness, both in the short term and the long term. Experiences give you fond memories to remember for a long time and allow you to spend time with other people. More on that in a minute. While products get boring, used up, and outdated pretty quickly, being sociable and spending time with other people in and of itself will create happiness. That's why outgoing extroverts tend to rank higher on happiness scales than their more shy, introverted counterparts. People who put a high value on wealth and possessions, we'll call them materialists, tend to be much less happy and satisfied with their life as a whole. See, materialism is a mental trait that starts in childhood and is caused by low self-esteem. Materialists use external possessions to temporarily compensate for their own inner dissatisfaction. Materialists also tend to be more self-centered, spending more of their money on themselves instead of their friends and family members. Now, what if you only have a small amount of money to spend? Which will make you happier? Spending money on yourself or spending money on your friends and family? It turns out spending your money on gifts or treating friends and family members to a good time will make you much happier than spending it on yourself. And if you don't have any money to spend, just donating your time to charitable activities will also make you happier. Being in a healthy, loving relationship will also cause you to be happier, not because you receive love, but because you get the chance to express love. Now, what if your happiness is being weighed down by problems in your life, like you've recently suffered a traumatic experience? The common wisdom is that venting to a friend will make you feel better about it. But according to psychological research, this actually isn't the case. See, in an experiment, people who talked about a traumatic experience with a sympathetic individual thought the talk helped them, but afterwards they were no happier than people who spent the same amount of time simply chatting about their day. Talking about traumatic experiences simply means you're spending more time and energy remembering bad experiences. But trying to suppress negative thoughts has the same adverse effect. If you tell somebody to avoid thinking about something, they're just going to end up thinking about it even more. Okay, as a side note real quick, if you have been the victim of sexual assault, please do tell the authorities about it. Or if there's a serious problem in your life that someone else can help you with, please go talk to them and get help. But aside from that, what can you help to do to ease the pain from traumatic experiences? All right, I want you to try this exercise. You're going to grab a pencil, a pen, a phone, a word processor, it doesn't really matter what. You just need something you can write with. And keep it handy because we're going to be doing a couple exercises that involve writing. Now, for this first exercise, I want you to write down your thoughts about your traumatic experience, how it affected you, how it made you feel, and what you can learn from it. If the traumatic experience comes up in your mind again, write about it for a couple minutes and move on. You can use this same exercise to improve your happiness permanently every day. Here's what I want you to do. For this exercise, set aside a few minutes every day. Just make it a routine, make it a habit. Pick a certain time of day when you wake up, when you go to bed, when you have lunch. Set aside a couple minutes every day to do some writing. We're going to call this your daily happiness diary. And I'm sorry if that sounds a little too cheesy or girly for you. Maybe you can call it something different, like your gratitude journal or something like that. Okay, for the first day in this diary, I want you to think about an intensely happy memory from your past. And I want you to relive that memory and write down your thoughts from that experience. Then the next day, day 2, I want you to think about your future. Imagine yourself as the person you want to be someday. Imagine your wife, your kids, your job, your daily boring routine, your house. Now, contrary to some bullshit self-help advice you'll hear, this visualization isn't going to help you be more successful or get you any closer to achieving your goals, but it will make you feel happier. Now, for the third day, I want you to think about someone in your life who's important to you, a friend or family member. Imagine this is your last chance to tell them how much you care about them, and write them a short letter telling them how they helped you and how much you care about them. It's okay, you don't actually have to text it to them or send it to them at all. You're just gonna write it. Now, for the fourth day, think about something in your life that you're grateful for. It can be some real simple stuff like your pet, your immune system for not getting sick in a really long time. How about how reliable your car is? Or how grateful you are for being born in a country with a lot of opportunity. You could write about a song that means a lot to you that you really love, and so on. Now, for the fifth day, I want you to think about something good that happened to you this past week. Someone who helped you, someone who complimented you. Maybe it was the money you saved on this great deal that you got. Maybe you aced a test at school. Maybe you finished a project way ahead of its deadline. Try to list at least 3 things that went well for you this week. And sometimes you have a really bad week, but hey, I'm sure you can come up with a list of at least 3 things that went pretty well. So why am I having you do this? So in an experiment, psychologists had 2 groups of people. The first group wrote down things every day that they were grateful for, whereas the second group simply wrote about stuff that they did that week. It turns out that the first group was much happier, healthier, and more optimistic about their future. All right, I got one last exercise for you guys. Right now, I want you guys out there on YouTube to put a smile on your face as you watch this video. It's fine if you don't feel happy or don't even want to smile. Just for me, please put a smile on your face and hold it for 1 minute. I'll tell you why in a minute. Right now, you're probably thinking, oh, great, this is another one of those cheesy, feel-good TEDx talks on YouTube again. But hey, just stick with me here, okay? When I was in Nepal with our volunteer group for 2 weeks, we would share our entire day together. And then every night, we would come together and have this exercise called Good Vibes. So everyone would write down a couple anonymous positive thoughts about that day. They would compliment someone else in the group for something, or maybe a joke, and we'd all take turns reading these good vibes out loud. It was my favorite part of the day, and despite it being a third world country, it was one of the happiest couple weeks in my life. Okay, are you still smiling? Here's the reason why. Putting yourself in a physical state associated with an emotion will help you feel that emotion. So, for example, when you get angry, you furrow your eyebrows, you point them downwards. But just furrowing your eyebrows in and of itself will make you feel a little bit angry. Of course, when you're happy, people smile. That's no secret. So if you spend time just smiling for no reason at all, it will actually make you feel happier. I hope you feel a little bit better already. And while we're on the subject of gratitude, I just wanted to say thanks to all the people out there on YouTube who actually watched this video all the way through. You know, you guys are the OGs, you know, unlike those other guys who got distracted halfway through by watching funny cat videos or thought they could save time just by, you know, skipping all the way to the end of the video. Anyway, Paul Fadika here. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.